I'm going to ask Bill Teeple to come up, because one of the things that's unique about Fairfield is our conscious understanding of Richard Florida's work of art, building the community, enhancing a creative class. And Bill, I think, without any hyperbole, is the guy who has come in over the decades and built the arts community, built the arts culture, and I couldn't be happier to have him with us. So Bill Teeple, Icon Gallery, and many other things.
Well, thanks for having me come down and talk. It'll be hard for me to say anything in 5 minutes, but we'll see. And I'll be open for some questions if you have some questions. But I think we all know that in the last 20 years, Fairfield has become known as an art community. And it's not all my doing at all. It's that when many people came here from different parts of the country, when Maharshi bought Parsons College and created MIU, and people came here. This might be happening in Santa Barbara had it not been that MIU came here. And then in '79, when Maharshi asked everyone who was at the Amherst course to come to move to Fairfield, and then we built the Golden Domes and all of that after that. So people that were associated with the Transcendental Meditation Program came here, and then we had to do things to stay here in the middle of nowhere and try to make a living. I and many other artists felt that we were missing something that was that we had left behind in the big cities. I come from the West Coast, but we in a fluid and natural way just began to create around us what we were missing. And I started teaching art. Let's see, it's a kind of a long story. I came here after Amherst, and my former wife and I started to show our art in little galleries that were in little homes, in our home and other places. Then I came and went for many years, and in 1998, I came back, and Lynn Marshall, who was an artist here, had been teaching drawing on the right-hand side of the brain, just in a public way to groups, and she was leaving town, and she asked if maybe I could take over her classes. So I had been doing the thing that was so nice, which was to stay here till November, December, and leave, and then come to California, and then come back in April. But when I inherited her classes and started teaching art, and then I expanded them into courses that had all 2D media, that was it. I haven't left since, except for a short vacation here and there. So I was here, and all of these things unfolded spontaneously. I didn't decide I was going to teach art. I just took over classes, started teaching. Those became very popular. Then I moved my teaching program up to above the square, where Barry Barrasa's studio had been, on the 3rd floor of 51 East Broadway. And there were a few rooms up there that were empty, so I rented them too, and I started hanging some of my art up there. And then I thought, the great artists that are here in Fairfield aren't really showing in Fairfield, so people in Fairfield aren't realizing how substantial and how significant some of the art being made in Fairfield is, because these people would show in galleries in other parts of the country where they actually could sell some of this stuff. So I started hanging it up there, and then we started to invite people to openings, and my wife made casseroles and food, and we actually had quite a spread of all kinds of beverages and everything you could want, and we had these real big city kind of openings, and we were showing art that was big city quality. So suddenly I found myself running a gallery. And then we moved that down onto the square in 2007. So we've been doing the gallery about 21, 22 years now. And starting doing that led to Stacy Herlin Katakas thinking we should have all the art venues on the square opening every month for the first Friday of the month. And that was the beginning of the First Friday Art Walk, which became quite a huge event in Fairfield. It won the tourist event of the year not long after it started for Iowa. So, then we not only had artists beginning, and there were quite a few people were having, there were a lot of the youth, there were youth galleries, there were studio galleries that we had. There was quite a lot of art activity going on, and that has grown and been kind of refined and developed in different ways. But we have what is now known as an art community all over, and even in these articles about Fairfield throughout the country have touted Fairfield as an artist colony. Now, not only were visual artists drawn here, but we had musicians and writers and poets and dancers, and every art form found a little niche in Fairfield. So we're really quite well known all over for being a very cultured community and lively cultural community. To the point that now people are coming here to live in Fairfield just because of the arts community, not only at first there was a lot of people coming because of TM, but there's people coming to Fairfield that don't even know anything about its beginnings with the Transcendental Meditation Program, but just want to come here for the Richard Florida idea of that there's culture here. And I find personally that I prefer the combination of the small town ways with the big city culture. So that's what we've tried to do. The small town ways were here. The practical thinking of the Midwesterners, which I highly regard, put together with the kind of cutting edge and pushing the envelope qualities that artists bring to a community. Putting all that together has been a beautiful mix. And I used to go back to California, but after a while, I went for family reasons, but after a while, I was always glad to get back here. That's such so intense and so many people and so not rooted in nature. So this combination of a small scale that you can wrap your head around life a lot, but also with culture that is of the highest level, because we strive in art. I could go on and on, but we strive in art to try to create a coherent object in the world, which is not totally coherent, and we're all attempting to do that in the things we do. But art is specifically concerned with within the picture plane or within the shape of a sculpted object on a pedestal, to as well as possible to quest for the achievement of something that contains coherence. So that's what the artist brings to the community, and the arts are really pretty much all about that. So it's kind of a little kind of a actual formation of a piece of heaven on earth that the artist brings to that puts on the pedestal in the gallery, and people gather around it, and it uplifts them and heals them, and it's a valuable thing. I'm the one that we've been talking a lot about all the practical things that are needed to have a successful community, and we're trying to have that become sustainable. But I often talk about the arts because of this attempt to manifest a little piece of heaven on earth is such an important practical aspect of society.
Bravo.